It's Monday, January 20th, 2025, and this is episode 327 of You Can Bet On That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet On That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. I'm Mark Duvall.
And I'm Dr. Mike.
Dr. Mike, how are things going?
Pretty good. Other than right now, the actual temperature is -4.
That's the actual temperature.
That's the actual temperature.
Mm-hmm.
With the wind chill factor, it is -18.
All right, very good.
Which is better than when I got up because it was -23 then.
All right, you got big plans for the day?
Yes, I do. We're recording this on Sunday. So as soon as we're done recording this, I'm heading over to a casino. And I don't know which one yet.
Ah, okay. So what's your dilemma?
Well, I did go to Isle Casino, like
good.
I said I would.
Good. Okay, you actually did it. Great. So how was that?
Well, the drive there is about the same time, but it's less freeway driving.
Okay.
So in the daytime, it's no big deal. At nighttime, the freeway's a little nicer to be on.
Yeah.
Just because you have to watch really close for deer the other way.
Right.
But they have a nice hotel, really nice hotel.
Mm-hmm.
They had like 3 places to eat, nothing fancy, but decent food. A pizza place and then like a pub style place and something more like fast food. The casino itself, the casino floor seems to me to be smaller.
Smaller than Diamond Joe Worth, you mean?
Than Diamond Joe Worth,
Okay.
yeah. And there's only one craps table.
Right.
And it has limited hours.
Yep.
I think on Saturday and Sunday, it opens at 2 p.m.
What day did you go?
So I went on a Saturday, I believe it was. I didn't get there till about 4 or 5.
Okay.
The good thing, here's the good things. They have a fair amount of table games, and they had a lot of them open. Craps table, only one, but never full. The whole time I was there on a Saturday night, never full.
Good, okay.
And at, oh gosh, there must have been an hour where I was the only one on the table.
Wow.
So that's nice because, it went fast, right? I mean, as fast as I wanted it to go. They have the sharpshooter.
Okay, which is kind of like the fire bet, except it doesn't have to be unique points, right? It can be any point.
It could be any points.
Yeah.
And, it pays off at 3.
Once you've made 3 points, okay.
Yeah. And then 4, 5, 6, all the way up to like 10 points.
Yeah.
And the limit on that is $5.
The max.
The max,
okay. Yeah.
So, you're not investing a lot of money there.
Right.
As opposed to, the all tall small where, you can get $30-$40 out there and 7 comes up on the first roll, you lose it, right?
Right,
You have to put it back, that kind of thing. The sharpshooter, just stays out there till the person's done with their roll.
Right.
So that's nice. Saved me a lot of money. It's fun when you hit the all tall small, but if it doesn't hit, that can add up to a lot of money.
Oh, yeah, it really drains your bankroll. Yep.
Yeah. They do have 10 times odds, $500 limit. Max, the table was $10 the whole time, and I guess it's always 10, according to what they told me. Crew was very friendly, very nice. I enjoyed it a lot. Casino's nice and clean. Tall ceilings. So it didn't smell smoky. It is a Caesars property.
Right.
Yeah, so that was it. I had a good experience. I liked it. I won. That kind of helped.
That always helps, yeah.
I was never down. As soon as I bought in, the shooter had a good roll. Right off the bat, I was up, a couple $100 and never got to the negative.
Good.
It was nice, and they were very friendly. And, of course, I was tipping them, so they were very happy. I didn't really notice anyone else tipping.
Yeah.
Their tips are kind of weird. They don't allow player control.
Okay.
So if you make a bet for them, let's say you make a place bet. So if I put $6 on a 6 and a 6 comes up, they win 7 and they take the 6 down. It doesn't stay up.
It can't stay up, yeah.
I asked about that. And I said, well, come on, you got to have player control so you guys can make more money. No, you can put it back if you want, but then that gets a lot of tipping, right?
Yeah.
So they said, well, you can do this. You can just make it your bet.
Yeah, if you're making a 6, just put an extra $6 on there, and every time it hits, just toss them $7. Yeah.
Right. Other than that, which was a little annoying, everything else was pretty nice.
Okay.
So they do have preferred parking if you're a Diamond or 7-star.
All right. Well, that helps.
You got to go through a little gate,
Oh, you do? Okay. So good. Yeah. It's not just, labeled and really anybody can park there.
No, you got to put your card in.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. And that parking's close, which is nice if I went there today because, negative 22 outside. I don't want to walk too far.
All right. So you have a dilemma. You're trying to decide which place to go to today. Are you going to try to make the decision during the show here?
Yeah. What do you think? What would you do? Now, see, here's the disadvantage of that place. There is only one table.
Yeah.
And it is a holiday weekend. And if something happened and it was packed, I might have to wait a little bit. But I asked when I was there how often that happens. And the deal looked at me and says, almost never.
Okay. So see, there you go.
It's not a big crafts place.
Yeah. I mean, if you've given me all the information that you're going to give me, I would say go back there because, you haven't been there enough.
I'm kind of thinking that too. Here's the other catch, though. If I go to Diamond Joe, I get $300 free play.
Oh, well, then you got to do that. I mean,
I don't have to. The thing about it is I haven't won at Diamond Joe in like a long time.
Well, now you know who you're talking to, right? You're talking to me.
I know.
So, of course, I'm going to say Diamond Joe.
And Diamond Joe has the potential to be very crowded.
Yeah, okay, right. But they have a couple of tables, right?
They have 2 tables usually.
You've never really had to wait to get on a table any significant amount of time, have you, at Diamond Joe?
No, not a long period of time. And lately, I haven't really had to wait. There's always spots, but I don't know. It just seems like the vibe there hasn't been good the last few times.
Okay, I understand that. And that is something to take into account, the vibe and how the crew is and the people that you're playing with. That is a huge factor. I agree. Right. So you'll have to decide. I mean, if you're just looking at $300, you can't say no to. So I would say just absolutely go to Diamond Joe.
Yeah, the $300.
But if you're trying to mix it up, if you're saying you haven't been having
and another thing about Diamond Joe is that I'll play the all tall, all small.
Okay. That's right.
There goes
you can't help yourself. I know you can't help it.
and there goes your $300 edge, right?
Yeah. All right. I gave you my opinion. It seems like you're trying to talk yourself into going to Isle Casino.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a good experience last time.
All right.
See, that's the thing. So I go for the extra money or do I go for the good experience?
All right.
And if it's a bad one, I never go back.
Yeah, it sounds like you're going to Isle, so just go to Isle. All right.
Well, one nice thing is Harrah's. So if I went to Vegas,
that's true too. Yeah, for Vegas,
because on the Strip, there's no Boyd properties, right?
Right. Yeah, and you're probably not going to stay at a Boyd property like downtown. Yeah. No, that's true.
So yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to think about it.
All right. Well, let us know next time.
Yep, I definitely will keep you in the loop.
Yeah.
Other than that, everything's been good. I'm busy doing basketball and school, and it's going really well. And, it's all inside, so I don't care what the weather is outside.
All right, great. Well, I have nothing to report. Haven't been gambling for a while, so other than
Mark
playing poker with the boys, so I got to get out there again. Well,
you and Cherry were going real regularly.
I know,
it was all of a sudden
every week for sure. And I don't know, illnesses and holidays and everything.
And that does hurt a little bit. I mean, I know with me, holidays, we were busy and stuff. People are sick. I have fortunately avoided it. School's been terrible.
Yeah.
Lynn's been working every day because somebody's sick every day. They were even thinking about closing the grade school down here in town for a couple of days just to get all the kids healthy again.
Yeah. I was sick for so long over the holidays, and Sherry's just recovering now. But anyway.
Yeah, it's going around. It's all over the country, it seems like, too. Yeah. It's probably a plot.
I'm sure it's a conspiracy, sure.
Yeah, what else could it be?
All right, well, Mike, as you probably know, the parlay is a very popular bet to make with recreational sports bettors. You're combining a bunch of bets, betting a little, hoping to win a lot. Always very popular.
Well, it's fun when they hit.
Yeah, it's fun, right? And you can decide how many ways you want on your parlay. You can, try to shoot the moon and take 15 ways, right?
Yeah,
or you can just do it, 2-way. Three-way.
Yeah, or
so
we do the one-way parlay.
yeah, that's what we stick with. It's just one way. Then we know very quickly whether we won or not.
Right.
Well, we got an email from listener Nick. He was doing a parlay and he ran into something very odd and confusing. And he wrote to us. I couldn't figure out what it was either. So it's time for another You Can Bet on That Mystery. We'll see if we can figure out what's going on here. So he was making a parlay on Christmas Day. Those NFL games are on Christmas Day. His parlay might have been all on one game, a bunch of different bets from a single game.
Right.
But anyway, he was planning on doing a 9-way parlay, and he had already made 8 of his picks. And he was trying to decide for his 9th pick if he wanted to bet on Patrick Mahomes over total rushing yards. It was 16.5 yards. Or to bet on Russell Wilson's over total rushing yards.
Which was what?
12.5 yards. Okay.
12.5.
So basically,
I would go with Mahomes.
He's trying to decide which quarterback he wants to bet the over on for total rushing yards. Okay. Here's the key. In both cases, the odds were minus 113 for this part of the parlay. Both of them minus 113.
Right.
So he actually sent me a video of how he was using this app. He was able to select Mahomes or Wilson just to see what the payout would be before actually confirming that that's what he wanted to bet on, right?
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's a good feature because then you could look at things.
You can tell. But in this case, right, minus 113, regardless of which bet he picked, the total potential winning should be the same.
Correct.
Right? Minus 113. And this is going to be his 9th way on the parlay.
Right.
Well, when he selected Mahomes, it showed that the payout would be about $1,215. Mm-hmm. But when he switched to Wilson, it showed that the payout would be $1,109. More than $100 difference.
Well, that makes no sense.
It makes no sense. And, he wrote to us and I was saying, Nick, I have no idea what's going on here.
Was there a limit on how much you could parlay on, like Russell Wilson? Like, okay, you built this up to $100 from your original whatever bet.
Well, okay, that's
now you
actually
can't
not
bet the whole 100.
Yeah, but you wouldn't think that would come into play for a parlay. This is just a $10 parlay.
You wouldn't. Yeah, you wouldn't think, but I mean that's the only thing I could think of.
That's interesting. I didn't think of that.
The odds are the same.
Yeah, but maybe there would be a limit, huh?
Maybe there would be a limit on him for whatever reason. I don't know. The casino set some kind of...
That's interesting. That's kind of crappy, but that is an interesting possibility. I was thinking also that maybe, since this was an in-game parlay, maybe if there were some correlations in his picks, where, sometimes the casinos don't like when picks are too correlated, right? But would that change the payout? I don't know. So we're putting it out there, sports bettors. Why do you think this happened, or how could this happen, where you've got bets that have the same odds, minus 113, but picking one versus another could make a difference in over $100 in the final payout for hitting all 9 ways.
And this was his 9th.
This was his 9th. This was the 9th pick he was going to make. Yeah.
Yeah. So I see that after 8 picks, he would have had $654 almost.
Yeah, if he had only stayed at the 8 picks that he made, at least.
Yeah.
And didn't go for a 9th, it was $654. So, this next pick.
And if he bet Mahomes and it won, he'd almost double his money. But if he did it the other way, it's almost $100 and something short. Huh. Well, that's very odd.
Yeah. So, again, if anybody knows, if anybody knows, definitely tell us. If you think you've got an idea, sure, contact us as well. But this was very strange.
And he showed you the screenshot?
Yeah, he actually sent me a video of him using the app, to show me exactly what he was talking about. And, sure enough, different totals.
Well, thinking about this more, it could be, how the NFL's rigged.
Oh, so the NFL knew what was going to happen, and they just wanted to mess with Nick.
Right.
Yeah.
The NFL or the machine that actually runs the app that controls the world.
Just the ultimate
has
machine,
it in for Nick.
Yeah. Yep, that seems like the most likely. Now
well, I don't know, Mark. After watching the Kansas City game yesterday, I'm pretty sure the NFL is rigged.
Yeah, I'd be a little upset if I were the Texans on some of those calls, but
there were two of them that were absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, well, that one roughing the passer where they said, it was helmet-to-helmet contact, and there wasn't.
Yeah, and there wasn't.
I've moved on.
You know me, I always said our friend Gary was crazy thinking it was fixed, and the more football I watch, the more I think Gary's a genius. It's fixed.
Gary's a genius.
Yeah.
It's the greatest statement I think I've ever heard. I don't think Gary listens to the show, so I can say
no, but he might be right.
Gary, just not to derail this even more than anything else, but Gary is a friend of ours who Mike put on a poker tournament once. And Gary had never really played Texas Hold'em or a tournament at all. And he read like Phil Hellmuth's book before he came over, and he ended up winning the tournament. It was so stupid.
Yeah, actually, Phil Hellmuth should listen to this and use that as a look. Guy reads my book, he wins tournaments.
Really.
Doesn't even know how to play, just reads my book. So.
Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, please go to our page first. You can betonThat.com and click through our Amazon link towards the top of the page. All right, that means it's voicemail time. First up, our buddy Ariel.
Hey, Mark, Dr. Mike, this is Ariel, just calling in for a trip report. So I went to Vegas the weekend before New Year's. Stayed at Planet Hollywood, so just wanted to share some experience there. So still a diamond there, so I checked in as a diamond. And the lady at the counter says, hey, I'm going to upgrade you. So she gave me one of the corner suites, which was pretty cool. They didn't ask for anything. I was just really polite to her and real nice. And she's like, yeah, I want to do something good, which is pretty awesome. I also stayed there for one night and then stayed at the Fremont. So they upgraded the Fremont or renovated it. And they have like Holiday Inn Express style rooms now, which was pretty comfortable. It was okay. It was still kind of loud because we were like in the Fremont Street facing room. So it's still a little loud, but we expect like New Year's weekend, right? So there's a lot of people, but it was pretty nice. Walked around Fremont, saw the people like doing their thing at the Fremont Street and then the light show and bands, and walked around different casinos, Binions, and gambled in a lot of different areas. Gambling was pretty fun. Didn't do well in slot machine, which was kind of weird. We usually do great in slot machine, but we hit like a bunch of bonuses, just like ran dry after a while. But for craps, we did really good. Did like crapless craps, and for some reason I rolled and I just kept hitting the extremes, and I was just like, what's going on? So I ended up doubling my money there. Played at Fremont, and this guy was like a new shooter. He didn't know what he was doing, and so he just kept shooting. He had like 28 rolls. It was pretty cool because they had like a counter on the table, and then, every time somebody rolled, they put the counter, and then they reset it when you hit a 7. So that was kind of interesting. I think that's pretty cool. I like that they had a counter on how long the person has been shooting, so that was pretty good. Anyway, so it was a fun trip. And I would definitely stay at Fremont again because they renovated the rooms and, they have free valet. And it was pretty nice spending the night or a couple of nights over there. So it was good. Anyways, just want to say thank you for everything that you guys do. And hopefully I'll see you guys too. Take care.
All right. Thanks. Yeah. That is one nice thing about Fremont. They've got that roll counter at the table and you can actually see how many times the shooters roll. I think if you roll, it's like 30 times or more, they give you a free cap or T-shirt or something that says...
Yeah, right. They have some kind of little promo thing.
Yeah.
Now, that counter is in Earth counting, right?
Yeah, I think it's Earth rolls.
Earth rolls, yeah. Big sign above it. Our counting is done in Earth rolls.
Yeah, it makes it clear. I don't know. It's kind of nice to be clear.
I'd like to go to a casino where it was jelly rolls. I love a jelly roll.
I guess I would too. One bad thing about Fremont, though, as far as I know, it's still only 2 times odds. So, I mean, for a Vegas casino now, that's amazingly low.
amazingly low. And if you're a low roller, it's fine. But if you're somebody who's wanting to take, 10 or 20 time or even 5 times odds, it's kind of, why waste my time here?
Yeah, just go across the street.
Yeah, exactly.
Ariel did call back. He said that when he was playing at Fremont, he tipped a cocktail server $5 when he ordered a Malibu and pineapple, and that she never came back. So he wanted to let everybody know, don't tip until you get your drink.
Yeah. Actually, that's good advice, because I can't tell you how many times I've ordered a drink and it's never come. I mean, just you never see her again, right?
Yep.
Like she got off or she just went to a different route. I noticed at Diamond Joe Wirt, the cocktail waitresses do a certain route, right? A certain section.
Yeah.
For like an hour. And then they switch to another section and they kind of rotate the cocktail waitresses around during the night. So if you catch them that in between, sometimes you order and then they're on a different route.
Yeah.
And you don't get your drink. I don't know why they do that. I mean, maybe because if you're at the tables, you're going to get better tips than on the slot
It seems like that would be a chronic problem, switching around like that. I think they did the same thing when we were at Horseshoe in Blackhawk, Mike. It seemed like they were doing the same thing. Oh, this isn't my section anymore. Oh, okay.
Right. Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, think about it. If you're a cocktail waitress in the slots, the slot players aren't handling any chips or money.
Gosh, I mean that the Tito vouchers were one of the worst things for cocktail servers, because it used to be when they'd come around with drinks, you'd just take a few quarters from the hopper there and give it to them, and now you're not. You don't
now it's like, I got to stop and get my wallet out or get my purse or whatever, and get money. So a lot of them don't tip. I would imagine. Yeah. I'm not that familiar with lots of slot players, but I would think they just don't tip. They just say thank you.
And we're going to have another cocktail server subject come up later in our calls.
Oh, boy. So is that going to be the title of this episode?
No, it's not that big a deal. All right, next call.
Hello, Mr. Mark, Dr. Mike. This is Gus from Michigan. I've been listening for about a year now. First-time caller, though. New craps player. Just wanted to tell you guys I really appreciate your show. Really gets me through the long days at work. Just wanted to shout you guys out. Appreciate everything you do. Have a great day.
Oh, very nice. Thank you, Jess.
Thanks, Jess.
Appreciate that.
Yeah,
call.
And sorry about your Detroit Lions.
Jeez. Yeah.
I'll tell you, when the game ended, I turned to Lynn and said, well, the aren't the most pathetic team in all the NFL.
Oh, I knew exactly what those fans were going through when they were panning over.
I mean, they've never even been to a Super Bowl. At least we went to one and got creamed, but it was like, here's your chance. You've got a great team, best record in the NFL. You're going to the Super Bowl and it's going to be fun. And nope.
Didn't just lose a close one. They were slaughtered. Right. The turnovers. That's really, that was
4 interceptions. Yeah, that's, you can't win with that. Yeah. Nor should you win.
Nor should you, yeah. All right, let's hear from Beth.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Beth from Michigan. It's been a while since I've called in, and in the meantime, during my work travels, I've stopped at more casinos around the country than I probably should, but no super interesting stories except finding a Monty Python and the Holy Grail themed slot machine with one of the funniest bonuses I've ever seen. But I had a couple comments about the last episode. Regarding Class 2 VLT slot games, every game does state in the game rules that the game is based on a quote-unquote lottery-based system or similar verbiage, so it's not exactly a dusty sign in the back of the bar, but you do have to bother to look at the game rules. So if you're playing a game with a complex pay table, like Huffin' Super Extra Contractor Warranty Puff, you might fall asleep before making it through all the rules. I was also intrigued by the earthier signage observed at that casino in Oregon. The only explanation I could think of besides extraterrestrials is that in some traditional Asian cultures, most notably Korean culture, you're already considered 1 year old when you're born. So among other details, somebody whose Korean age is 21 is 20 under conventional international standards, or possibly what you would call earthiers. However, it's not like the international standard is not used in Korea, so it's a bit of a stretch even if there happens to be a large number of Korean visitors to Florence, Oregon, but just food for thought. But since I'm not yet 21 in Mars years, the clarification is appreciated regardless of intent, I guess. The only other thing I was wondering is if you knew if there are any kind of required standards for craps table sizes, like minimum or maximum dimensions. I've noticed variations not just in table length, but in rail height as well. Is there a reason for these variations, or is it just purely aesthetic? If Robin at Anytime Gambling thought being 5'5" at a craps table was annoying, try being 5'1". In particular, at Harrah's Kansas City, the rail of the crapless craps table was so high, I almost felt like I was at the bank trying to reach over the rail to get the dice. Anyway, love the show. Keep up the good work, and thank you.
All right. Thanks, Beth.
Well, I hope that in that Monty Python and the Holy Grail slot machine, the fun experience she had with the bonus was like the Black Knight getting his limbs cut off.
Oh, it is, Mike. I'll tell
Is
you.
it?
Yes, I'll encourage anybody who hasn't played the game to go onto YouTube and just to do a search for it, the Holy Grail slot machine. Yeah, Mike, that's one of the bonuses. And every time the Black Knight gets a limb cut off, coins spill out instead of blood.
From the limb?
Yeah.
From the severed
Yeah.
limb?
Yeah.
I love it.
Yep.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's
and
good.
there are other bonuses too that are funny. You know, some of them are scenes from the movie, some are little animations, everything. So yeah, go do a search on it if you haven't played.
I haven't seen that. That sounds like a fun game.
All right, next time you're in a casino and you're fed up with craps and you're just looking, see if you can find
The Monty Python.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crap table sizes. I mean, there's certainly no regulations that we know of as far as the height and the length and everything like that. Yeah, I think it's, I mean, there are kind of some standards that I'm sure manufacturers follow, but yeah, we've seen a lot of different ones, high, low, long, bouncy. So
I think it just depends on who builds it. It's kind of like the bathrooms at the pizza place in La Mesa.
Oh, yeah. That,
the urinals.
It's not there anymore.
I miss that
That
place.
was absolutely the highest urinal that either one of us has ever seen in our lives. And
the plumber who put it in, honestly, guy had to be like 7 feet tall or 6'10" or something, because a guy under 5'8" or even 5'10" maybe couldn't use that.
Yeah, or a kid. I mean, there's no way.
No, a kid could walk under.
I kind of had to stand on my tippy toes, just to make sure there wasn't an issue.
Oh, that was so funny. I mean, every time I went in there, I just laughed and laughed.
It was the best.
I think it was built so you could take your kid in there and they could stand under the urinal while you peed.
You may have figured that out, right? All right, Bobby. Don't move.
Right here. Don't move. Whatever you do, don't go forward.
God. Well, Beth brings up a good point. We even had another listener who wrote in about this. In some of the Asian cultures, when you're born, you're 1 year old.
Yeah.
And then everybody ages another year on the Lunar New Year.
Right.
Right. So you could be born in January, right? And then the Lunar New Year hits. You could be less than a month old technically and be 2 years old in that culture. So, yeah, it's good that they put birth years on there.
And in Europe, I know this in Greece for sure, because my dad did this all the time. When you have a birthday, like let's say I'm having my 65th birthday.
Yeah.
The next day when someone asks you how old you are, you would answer 66. Because you've passed 65.
Because you're in your 66th year.
You're in your sixth year.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
So I know in Greece they do that, and bugs Lynn to no end.
Sure.
Because I was so used to my dad doing it, I would say something. Somebody say, "How old are you?" I'd say, "Well, I'm 58." No, you're 57. No, I'm in my 58th year.
Well, now would that even apply to babies? Oh, he's 1.
Yeah. Right. He's in his first year.
Okay.
How old's your kid? Well, in Greece he's 1. In Korea he's 2. In Earth years he's 2 months, right?
All right. I'm getting flummoxed.
You know what we're missing here, Mark?
What's that, Dr. Mike?
We have the opportunity to create birthday cards that say, like, Happy 14th Earth Year Birthday. Yeah. Those would sell.
Yeah, I'm sure they would.
And then on the back, it could be look up your age at various planets, like how many Pluto years have you lived?
Oh, yeah.
How many Saturn years have you lived?
Oh, God. Beth was saying she wasn't even 21 years old in Martian years. Gosh,
Martian years.
You and I are in our 30s for Martian years.
At least.
We can absolutely play in Mars Vegas.
I don't know why I'm saying this out loud for everyone to hear. Someone's going to steal my idea, and they're going to become like the new Hallmark. The guy who invented Velcro. People are going to be saying, "Hey, you got that guy who invented that Earth year on cards? He's a gazillionaire now."
Yeah, Earth year on cards is comparable to Velcro.
Yeah, or Bill Gates
in importance. All right, Dr. Mike, it's time to move on. Next call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike, it's Brandon here. Listen, a couple podcasts ago, you had a caller that was asking about chips and who technically owns the chips, whether it's the casino or whether it's the player. So I chatted with my pit boss friend at the Bellagio and asked him this question, and he said that, yes, the chips are the property of the casino. Now, he added an asterisk to it. So the idea is that when you buy chips, I think it was you, Dr. Mike, that called it a promissory note. That is essentially what it is. It's a promissory note. Now, he said that pretty much all casinos know that players are going to walk off with dollars, nickels, maybe even quarters, and they built that in. It's the 100 chips and certainly the $500,000 and $5,000 chips that they're more concerned about. And the reason is that they just don't have as many of them in inventory. So they have to keep a closer track on them. And I asked him, so what, if the table says color up, you need to color up? And he said, yes, they can invalidate chips if you aren't essentially following their directions. And it's not because they're jerks, it's because they need to keep track of their inventory. So bottom line is, yeah, if the table says, hey, we need you to color up, go ahead and do what they say. The second thing is, I've heard now a couple different calls regarding the Golden Nugget and some negative stories associated with it. I've never gambled at the Golden Nugget. I've only been inside it. But this is the power of your podcast, is I will never gamble at the Golden Nugget now, ever, in my life. I am tired of these negative stories. Simply put, I'm never going to gamble there. That's the power of your podcast, guys. So pat yourselves on the back for that. Anyway, that's all I got. Thanks for everything. We'll keep in touch. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Brandon. Yeah, like we said on our last episode, we're not encouraging people to boycott Golden Nugget Las Vegas, right? We're not going as far as that.
Just that we're not going to go there anymore.
We're just saying what happened with our experience, and it's been going on for many years. So anyway, Brandon, we appreciate that.
And you can't help it if people value your opinion, Mark.
I can't help it. What can I do?
Yeah, what can you do? You know what was funny? I'm thinking about him talking about casino chip ownership. I guess if you're like super, super wealthy and you've got, like 10 $5,000 chips left over in your pocket, when you're ready to go to the airport, it's like, I'll just take these with me. I'll bring them back next time. They probably wouldn't care for that too much.
I don't think they'd like that. No.
And, it could create confusion if somebody, like maybe not $5,000, but let's say somebody did take a couple of $1,000 chips. When they come back to the casino, it's like, you just checked in and you haven't been to a table yet and you've got $1,000 chips.
Yeah.
Are these real? Or, even if they found out they were real or they knew you were regular, it still adds a little bit of uncertainty to it.
Yeah,
right?
They'd probably go the extra mile to kind of validate that, hey, where'd you get that? And it was from last time I'm here. I'm sorry. And
that's a big hassle for them. Yeah. So, I can understand why a casino would not want that.
Yeah, Brandon talked about how the pit boss said they're able to invalidate chips. I'm not sure what that's about. What does that mean, invalidate?
Well, they could probably call over to the cage
RFID
and say,
doesn't work anymore. Well, but he's talking about, you need to color up in the story that Brandon told, right? Well, if you're coloring up, you've probably got low denomination chips.
Right.
Right? So anyway, I don't know. The bottom line is that the whole point of the topic was, these chips do belong to the casino.
I think by invalidate, they mean that security will probably escort you to the back and beat the hell out of you if you take any.
It could have been just a nice way of saying that's what they do.
Yeah. That's old time Vegas. Those were the fun days.
Yeah.
Mark.
Oh gosh, I love that. When the mob ran everything, you'd have free buffets and they'd bend over backwards. Oh, it was wonderful. And then the dark side.
Yeah, you just didn't want to do anything bad. You just had to know your place.
You had to know your place. Just behave. All right, next call.
Hey, Mark, Mike. It's Jason again from North Carolina. Calling us another trip report. All right, the first trip of the year was to Harris Cherokee over in Cherokee, North Carolina for my mom's birthday weekend. So, yeah, it was the first time actually there. And wow, that was a lovely casino in a really nice part of North Carolina. Got there right after the snow just put from the area, and it was a fun time. Here's two little fun stories. So first one is I did mostly was play blackjack for a few hours. Got burned eventually on that. Then I went over to a Ultimate Sevens Sunkiss machine, and on the very last spin before my bankroll ran out, I hit the mini progressive. So that was a nice win to get things back up to even. And then another fun story, what you guys probably love about craps is you probably around near midnight, one guy went on a heater. Oh my goodness, he had probably about 20 straight rolls and he got a point. He only got 1 point, but then he kept being rolled and on the same point without getting his point back. And then he ended up making like $5-6 grand. I've never seen that many place bets on craps in my life, but it was electric in that area too. But yeah, it's a lovely casino. I love how everything's spread out. It's a huge area. It's probably the biggest I've been to so far. But yeah, hope you guys are doing well. Have a great start of New Year, and I hope everything's doing well with you, Mark, over there in California, staying safe from the wildfires. Just devastating stuff. But yeah, you guys have a great start to New Year. Jason, North Carolina, signing out.
All right. Yeah. Thanks, Jason. And thanks to everyone who reached out to me. We're actually quite a ways from the fires, about 100 miles south of the fires. The San Diego area here, we've had some little brush fires and everything, but nothing significant. Nothing like what's going on up there in LA.
Well, we have in the past, though.
Oh, we have. We've had our share of pretty bad fires, but nothing to this extent. I mean, this is unprecedented.
Devastating. Yeah. Just real quick before we talk about Jason's call, speaking of that, did you hear that the Dodgers might play their home games at the beginning of the year at Petco?
No, I didn't hear that. Wow. Yeah. Okay.
I read that in a sports article because the quality of the air is so bad.
Gosh.
And they didn't know, by April, if that was going to be good enough, they might play their home games in Petco.
Okay. I guess that the games are still going to be at Dodger Stadium, but yeah it's good to have, a backup plan for that. Wow.
But even hearing that, it's like, oh my God.
Yeah, that's how
we're in January still, and they're talking about April games, and the air's not going to be clean. That was devastating. You got to feel for those people.
Oh, yeah. So, Harris Cherokee, Mike, I think we talked about it last episode. What additional plans have you made for us going there?
Well, Mark, I will say this, as much as we talk about Golden Nugget getting bad reviews from people, we've never heard a bad one about Harris Cherokee.
Boy, not a really bad one. I mean, there have been little things here and there, specific
but
things.
I mean, nothing like where somebody said,
no.
I'm never going there again.
No.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to go. I just don't know when.
All right, so the answer is you haven't done anything. There have been okay.
But
that's what I want to hear.
But if we're talking about this summer, I'm going to say it's going to have to be in June.
All right.
Okay, because my July, at least mid-July to mid-August is hectic.
All right, stay tuned, everybody. It's up to Dr. Mike.
Or late August. I mean, we could go late August.
Well, don't forget, early September is Black Hawk.
Yeah, that's true. So June would be better. All right, I'm going to talk to Lynn about that because, she has a friend that lives close by there.
All right.
We might just drive down there. We want to do a little driving.
All right, stay tuned. Let's move on. Next call.
Hey, gentlemen. LAJ calling from Harrah's. Just stepped away from the craps table here in Lake Tahoe and have a question for you. In the middle of one of the rolls, a gentleman comes up to belly up to the craps table. The cocktail waitress was making her rounds at that same time, and he ordered a beer. A few minutes later, and this is still before he has really seen how the table was going, she comes back with his drink, and he flashes a $100 bill and asks if she has change for $100. He basically asked for 95 back. She had to go to the cashier, the back room, wherever to get the change. A few moments later, she comes back with the change, and he gives her the $5 tip for his beer. Now, on one hand, I could see that, asking for change from a cocktail waitress, this is maybe not their job. And if you've only got hundreds and you're asking for change, maybe this is not like who you go to. On the other hand, most people are not tipping for drinks. Most people are giving $1 if they're going to give a tip. $5 is a very, I think a nice cocktail waitress tip for each round, each beer. And so the question is this fair game? Is this a good thing to do? Or is this a little bit beyond what you might think is kind of reasonable? Now, if it makes any difference, the table was pretty hot, lots of good rolls. And so he was very quickly able to turn his $500 that he put into the game into about $3,000. And so it's very, very good for him betting aggressively on all the hard ways and all the numbers. Would love your take.
All right, thanks. I don't think this is unreasonable. It sounds like this is a situation where somebody was in the middle of a roll, so the guy didn't want to buy in to get a chip to tip the cocktail waitress, right? Because that's what you think. Oh, why doesn't he just buy in? Well, maybe he's, trying to have good craps etiquette and is not buying in. And, okay, yeah, even though drinks in Nevada are comped, the cocktail servers, they still need to be able to deal with cash and money and that kind of thing. So, no, I don't think this is unreasonable.
Yeah, I have a similar take. First off, good for him to want to tip them. He could have just said something like, "Oh, sorry, I don't have change. I'll catch you later." And she could have also said, "No, I don't have change, or I can't make change." In which case, he probably would have said something like, "Oh, yeah, I'll catch you next round," or something. Yeah. So if she really didn't want to do it, she would have said so.
Okay, I see what you're saying, yeah.
And then also, he could have just asked whoever he was standing next to, "Can I borrow $5?"
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's another option too. Depends on
if it was me, I would have just here's $5.
Right,
pay me when you buy in or whatever.
Yeah. But again, you don't know how people might react to that kind of thing. But sure.
Yeah, but that's another solution. Or here's another solution. He could have just said, "Oh, there's no tip, but on your deathbed, you will achieve total consciousness."
Yeah.
So anyway, I think he did the right thing. That's very nice of him, actually.
Yeah,
and I'm sure she appreciated it. What's the most you've ever tipped for a drink?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I'm trying to think if I've been on some kind of heater, or maybe 10 if I'm getting drinks for several people or
people. You're right. Yeah.
Oh,
well, I tip 5 every time, even if I get a water.
I remember once I was at Golden Gate and I bought a round of Fireball shots for everybody at the table. So I tipped the cocktail waitress $5 for each drink.
Oh, okay.
So whatever that was. So that was probably my biggest. Yeah.
Well, that's a good one. Yeah. I think mine's 50.
Okay.
I know there was this one time at Diamond Joe. Every time she came, we'd hit a point or something. So it was like 5. And then next time I gave her 10, got up to 25. And then after that, I just went right to 50 and gave her $50.
Nice.
Because I was, having a big night.
She's racing back to try to get your next drink order.
Yeah. Drink that right here. I got another one.
Yeah. All right. Let's hear from our friend, Mississippi Rob.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike, this is Mississippi Rob, just calling in with a trip report from Biloxi. On New Year's Day, I got to go down to Biloxi for the first time in a few months. Me and my wife went down, met my brother-in-law and my sister down there. Went to gamble. Of course, I went to the baccarat table, and I may be able to call back in later with a report on that. But what I really wanted to call about is after I got done gambling, I went and talked to my wife, and her and my sister had been over there playing one of the little $3 minimum stadium gaming roulette games. My wife's not much of a gambler, so she did that, whatever. But I hadn't heard her talk about gambling and be this excited in quite a while, so I knew that I should call in to kind of see if y'all had heard of this game before. So basically, it's just your typical roulette thing, $3 minimum, no big deal. But what she said is they had some special thing called Gold Ball on it. It was Gold Ball Roulette. And basically, the payouts I may not have exactly right, but basically, my wife was playing 50 cents every spin on this gold ball bonus. My sister was playing $1 on it. And what it was is you can bet it every single time. And every so often a gold ball will pop out. If the gold ball doesn't pop out, you lose that bonus bet. Everything else plays as is. But if the gold ball comes out, then also 4 random numbers are populated. 1 for the G, 1 for the O, 1 for the L, and 1 for the D. And the payouts range anywhere from maybe 15 to 1 all the way up to I think it was 150 to 1. So depending on the letters. So you might could look up some more details of this to explain it to everyone a little bit better. But basically, they had a blast doing it just all because of the gold ball thing. And I think also one note is they pick out a bonus number for G, O, L, and D every time. And so if the white ball comes out, the normal ball, and it hits those numbers, you might break even on your bonus bet. So anyways, all that to say, on a $3 roulette game, you can play this little bonus for 50 cents or $1 and not break the bank. It kept them really entertained for quite a while for two people who are pretty much non-gamblers. So that was an interesting story. Like I said, I'll try and call back sometime soon and kind of give you the rundown on baccarat. I did have my first win of the season there, and I'll kind of give you the rundown. So anyways, hope y'all are having a good new year. Talk to you soon. Bye.
All right. Yeah. Thanks, Rob. I think Rob actually explained it very well for an audio podcast. You kind of have to actually see it to understand exactly what's going on. But yeah, that's basically what it is. This gold ball comes out randomly. I don't know how often it comes out. And, if it does and lands on one of these GOL or
Where does it come out of?
Well, it's one of those automated ones. So it comes out of the...
I gotcha.
Right. It comes out, either a white or a gold ball comes out.
Right.
The white is the regular and the gold's the other. What really struck me about this was he was talking about how his wife and sister aren't really gamblers and how excited they got about this. This is the kind of thing that casinos really should jump on. Things that appeal to non-gamblers, get more people in there.
The excitement of, is it going to be gold balls going to come out?
Yeah, and I watched some videos online about this, and I can understand the appeal. Every roll, these 4 random numbers on the wheel are picked for the GOLD. And even if the gold ball doesn't come out, if the white ball lands in one of them, you get paid a little bit. And then, of course, if the gold ball comes out, you get paid quite a bit. And I don't know what the house advantage is on it. It seems like it's pretty random as far as when the gold ball comes out and which numbers pay more than others. Anyway, thanks for calling in, Rob. He had emailed us about this, and I said, call in and explain it. So I'm glad you did.
Yeah. I got 2 things to say about Rob's call. Okay. Number 1, Mark, whenever you hear Rob's voice, don't you just in your mind imagine this big, huge guy like 6'8" and 300 pounds?
I know. Before I met him, it's like, Mississippi Rob. Yeah, you think that's exactly true. That's kind of what I thought.
I hate to say it, but I always think
big,
that
burly, rough guy. Might.
And that's why I love when he calls, because I just in my head I'm thinking this giant man. That's number 1, and number 2. In our casino, we're going to have this game, this gold ball roulette, except here's my tweak. White ball, regular roulette. Gold ball comes out, just like this game, different ways to win and stuff and different amounts. And then we're going to have a blue ball. And if the blue ball comes out, everyone just loses. Oh. What do you think of that?
I'm sure people would love playing that.
Oh no, blue ball!
You're finding ways to chase gamblers away. Blue ball comes out, everybody loses. Oh, but there is a side bet that you can bet the blue ball will come out. That pays 2 to 1.
And the blue ball will only come out like maybe 4 times in a 24-hour period. Just might be back to back. Or when somebody has a large bet, and the dealers will have
that's right. And now's the time.
We're going to make a fortune.
Yep. All right, next call.
Hi, guys. This is Jay from New Jersey. First time I've had a chance to call. Really enjoy what you guys are doing. You've been talking about Face-Up Pie Gal, and that's basically taken over Atlantic City. Nobody really plays the regular game anymore. Most of the casinos are getting rid of their regular tables and having face-up tables. But I wanted to relay a story that happened to me a couple of months ago in Pennsylvania. And I was playing face-up. There was an elderly Chinese man next to me who, did not speak English. And next to him was a Chinese woman who was his companion. She spoke English, spoke Chinese, spoke to him, and, it was a good table. Everybody was playing and having a good time, and, it was a nice atmosphere. So we're playing, and the dealer turns over his hand, and it's a pair of 3s on the bottom, and his top 2 cards were queen something. So it was a very beatable hand. I set my cards. I had a winner. It's no problem. And I looked over, and the man next to me had 4 diamonds and the joker, and he kind of had those 5 cards bunched up, and then he had 2 garbage cards on top. So that was going to be a push if he played it that way, and you could see that he was hesitating. Meanwhile, he doesn't speak English. I kind of can see his cards, and I'm saying to him, no. And then the woman on the other side of him, she starts talking to him in Chinese. I'm getting nervous that he's going to play it wrong. So I start pointing to the dealer saying, ask him. The dealer also happens to be Chinese, so now he starts talking to the guy in Chinese, gets the guy to put his cards down. The dealer pulls the two cards that should be played, which were he had one of the junk cards was a 7, one of the diamonds was a 7. So he did it correctly, a pair of 7s on the bottom, and then the joker as an ace on the top, and that's a win. He still gets paid on the fortune bonus, and everything is good. So now we're going to turn over the cards, and the dealer's going to pay us. All of a sudden, the supervisor comes running over saying, he has to set his cards. He has to set his cards. If you ask the dealer, it has to be house way, and that's not house way. He has to set his cards. So now there's complete confusion at the table. I mean, I say to the supervisor, he doesn't speak English, and she's saying he has to set his cards. So now the whole table's getting into it. We're like, I'm yelling at the guy, just pick up your cards, pick up your cards. The dealer is talking to him in Chinese. The woman next to him, I don't know how many languages, is talking to this guy. Finally, he lifts up the 5 cards, he lifts up the 2 cards, he puts them right back down. I said to the supervisor, there, he set his cards. Just wanted to say, be careful if you're going to ask the dealer for help in face-up. That might have a different scenario than the typical games, blackjack and other games where the dealers can kind of sort of help at will. Other than that, love you guys, what you're doing. I am a craps player. I like you guys, but I do play face-up as sort of a diversion, just to do something a little different instead of playing craps all the time. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thanks, Jay. Just another infuriating story here. So at first I'm thinking, okay, the supervisor's just saying that the player has to actually be the one to touch his cards to set them up.
Yeah.
Right? But then she says, no, if you ask the dealer for help, it has to be house way. On face-up Pai Gow poker, where house way might not be the best way to play because you can see the dealer's cards. Oh, absolutely ridiculous.
I can just see that all going on. And the poor guy, he's probably thinking, I don't understand any of this. Even when they're speaking in my native language, I still don't understand what I'm doing. Leave me alone. And he didn't say how much he had bet, did he?
No, but I mean, we talked about face-up Pai Gow poker recently, right? Where it's like, okay, all you're really doing is putting your money out there and you're going to win or you're going to lose. Because there's no real thought involved, because there's always a right way to play the hand. Now, you can kind of mess up, but at least in the examples that I was giving when I played and actually fouled my hands, they just said, no, that's okay. If you'd played it correctly, you would have won, which is the way it should be. They still have an edge on the game. Don't take advantage of somebody who made a mistake or who doesn't speak English and is going to get confused in the whole situation. Don't take advantage of them. You're going to win.
That's what I'm saying. What is the? I'd love to know what the bet was, because if he's betting 100,000, then maybe she's really got a point here. But he's betting $10. Just let it go.
Yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb and say it wasn't 100,000.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's probably like a quarter, right? Pay him his $25 and move on. Oh my God. That would be ridiculous.
Yeah. All right. One last call from our good friend Andrew.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Andrew from Phoenix. I hope you both are doing well. A few episodes ago, Dr. Mike suggested making a donation as a white elephant gift, which sparked an idea for me. I thought there might be other fans of the show who appreciated what Dr. Mike was doing in his community and would love to support it. To give back and spread some joy this year, we started a GoFundMe campaign. We thought it would be only fitting to call it Project Muckleshoot. If anyone would like to donate, you can find a link on the You Can Bet on That social or the show notes. Hope you guys are doing well, and I hope to see you at the tables in the near future. Bye.
All right. Well, thank you very much for putting that together, Andrew.
Yeah, that's great. I would have never thought of that or anything, but I love that he's doing that, and whatever money he raises or whatever is going to go to good use. I can guarantee you that.
That's great. And for new listeners, what we're talking about is basically Mike's school fund. He works at several different schools, and this money just goes to help not just with the school, but maybe some of the students and parents who are struggling and, just to help them out.
Yeah, it's basically for people who need things that they may not be able to attain for whatever reason, like shoes, jackets, snowwear. Even in some cases, it's been something like notebooks and school supplies. And one time it was a bed.
Yeah, that's great. That's
right.
great.
A little kid who didn't have anywhere to sleep, bed-wise, was sleeping on the floor. So, we got him a bed.
Yeah, great. So again, I will put a link to the GoFundMe page in our show notes. And if you just go to Google and do a search on Project Muckleshoot GoFundMe, then the page comes up as well. So we appreciate that.
I like the name though.
Yep.
Project Muckleshoot.
Yep. Meanwhile, the Muckleshoot Casino finds this online. What's this all about?
Yeah, right. Hell, if they do, we'll change it to Project Earth Year.
Project Earth Year. Yeah, sounds good.
How old are you?
1. All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode. We want to thank some people for some recurring donations from Kurt, from Nathan, from Brian Dancer, and from Brian and Sarah. Thank you very much for those recurring donations. We also got a donation from listener Chris. Karma donation for a Vegas trip January 9th through the 11th. Oh, okay, so hopefully you had some luck there. I've been going in reverse order through the You Can Bet On That backlog and just hit number 44, Tabletop Puncher. What a great episode. I'm thankful for all the joy this show has brought me for years. Chris from Austin. So thank you very much for that, Chris.
I remember Tabletop Puncher.
It's a classic. And a donation from listener Todd. Let's kick off the new year with a thank you for keeping the pod going in 2025. Well, thank you very much, Todd. It's very generous. Hey, at the top of our webpage, you'll find a link to our store where you can buy You Can Bet On That merchandise. Also, you can find a list of all the gambling-related shows coming up on American television at youcanbetonThat.com/TV-listings. And we've got a list of gambling-related movies at youcanbetonThat.com/movies. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512-WAGERS.
Or you can email us at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. We're also on Twitter at YouCanBetOnThat and on Facebook at facebook.com/YouCanBetOnThat. What do you got for us, Dr. Mike?
Well, I was just thinking about Andrew. Andrew's a good guy. His wife is a physician, so he knows about giving back and stuff. But I just want to emphasize, I was telling Lynn just yesterday, having a lot of money is not really the best thing because, it's just sitting there wasting. I mean, take what you need for your life and everything, but, spread a little around. And if you don't have money, that's not a problem either. You have time. If you have time, help out somewhere, volunteer somewhere. They're always looking for, extra help, whether it's at a school or the public library or Special Olympics. I mean, there's so many programs that people can help.
Oh, well, and gosh, I mean, just look at the fires right here. Gosh, I mean,
there's a million opportunities there to help.
Oh, yeah. And, if it's money, they certainly can use money for those LA fires. And there are a lot of places you can donate to, Red Cross, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah.
Even cleaning up. I mean, even if you didn't have any money to donate, but you said, hey, I'm going to go down there and some guy's, cleaning up a bunch of stuff off his property, help him out.
Yep.
And it makes you feel better. There's a guy here, I'll just tell a quick story, who actually lives up in Minneapolis, but he comes down here to this area to educate kids on conservation and stuff.
Huh.
And he runs this program specifically for quails and other small ground birds who their habitat is being ruined by buildings and farms and stuff like that. And he goes to farmers and he has them donate a little bit of land and then has kids from the school come and plant plants that the quail and other birds eat. And, it makes a habitat for them. I was talking to him and he said, can't really do that in the cities because there's not enough land. So I come down here and I donate my time and he sets all this stuff up and makes all these presentations. He does it for nothing. He just likes birds.
Yeah, that's great.
And he wants them to have that. So anyway, it's just my little take. Other than that, I'm excited to watch football. Now it's going away in a little bit, but baseball will be right behind it. And I've been reading a lot of articles lately about how baseball is going to go away and we're never going to have baseball again because no one goes to games anymore and blah, 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 blah. And I will not let that happen.
Okay. Yeah. Make sure.
I'm going to make sure. I love baseball.
Oh, me too. It's my favorite.
And football.
Yeah. Oh, I like watching football.
And I'm watching basketball, especially college basketball.
College basketball especially, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, pros are okay, but really college basketball is so much more exciting. My thing is men's college basketball, then women's college basketball, then women's professional basketball, then the NBA.
Then the NBA is the lowest tier. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all I've got.
All right. Well, very good. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Oh, sweet mother, I love you, Dr. Mike.